What happens first? Drew O'Connor ends his 24-game goal drought, which we just talked about a lot. A Penguins goaltender pitches a shutout, or Jesse Puljujarvi plays in 5 straight games. Horwat, what do you think happens first?
Man, can I bet the house and just say none? I'll give Drew O'Connor the push, and not because I think it's coming soon. The play hasn't shown me that it's coming soon, but because the Penguins goaltending is a gong show this year. It's improved a bit recently, but Tristan Jarry is still allowing a squeaker every now and again. And when it comes to Puljujarvi, man, I just don't see it happening for him, which sucks because he's an outstanding player and deserves the push. And honestly, that might be my second guess. But I'm not sure if that even happens this season. So at some point, Drew O'Connor is sure to score another goal. He might not be in a Penguins uniform, but at some point or another, he is sure to find the back of the net again. And that seems way more sure than the Penguins getting a shutout this year or Puljujarvi playing in 5 straight, because I'm just playing the odds here. The odds of O'Connor scoring next aren't low or aren't high, but man, they're higher than the other two.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you there. I mean, O'Connor could score a fluky goal tonight, and that'll end this entire conversation. So that's why I'm sticking with Drew O'Connor, because one, not just the Penguins goaltending, which Tristan Jarry had a bad game on Tuesday, the first that he's had in a handful. And obviously Alex Nedeljkovic has struggled this season, and obviously some bad luck on Tuesday night as well. But I just, not only the goaltending, but the defense. I just don't have faith in them to be able to protect the house enough to where the goaltender is going to be able to get into a rhythm and not be shelled and not be hung out to dry on more occasions than not. So that one I ruled out almost immediately after I typed it. Jesse Puljujarvi playing in 5 straight games. It seems like the only way that's going to happen is if somebody goes down with an injury. I mean, that is the only reason that he played against Toronto, is Phil Tomasino wasn't good to go. So somebody else is going to have to go down with an injury, which, again, I'm not sure the Penguins are going to stay fully healthy on the forward side of things all season long. So at some point, you'd have to imagine that Jesse Puljujarvi plays in 5 consecutive games this season. But will that happen before Drew O'Connor gets a bounce? Probably not. So I'll stick with you in this one. I'll say Drew O'Connor ends that drought. Is the end of that drought nearing? I don't know. I will say he got close against the Rangers last week. He had a couple opportunities. He got close, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, it's been a while. He rang one off the post behind Igor Shesterkin, but he just hasn't gotten any bounces. And eventually that's going to have to change. But it won't unless he does what we said in that last segment, unless he starts to play at that NHL pace, at that NHL level that he's kind of started to fall back from and look more like a guy that's a tweener than a guy that showed last year that he was a bona fide NHLer.
He did show it last year. It's, I don't want to say that his streak gets to 2 months, but I'd put more of a.
How many games is it between now and that 2 month mark?
Oh, they play every other day until Christmas Eve, I think. So
yeah. So I think he has 3 or 4 games to do it.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, and
he has 3.
And I pulled up the upcoming schedule last episode and said some of those teams are
at Habs, at Sens, and then at home against the Kings. If he doesn't score in any of those games, then it'll be next Wednesday, the 18th, and it'll be 2 months since he scored a goal.
Well, yeah, I could see it hitting that. I really could. And not that I want him to hit the 2 months. It's just he hasn't shown much of finding it. I mean, if recent history of just the numbers, of just looking on paper here, a lot of goose eggs dating back to October, mid-October at that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you want some real perspective. He hasn't scored since 9 days into the season.
Yeah, that's right.
That'll put it into perspective really quick for you. It's been that long since he has scored a goal, and just that trend makes me believe that he won't find it for a couple more days. Again, it won't be until the end of the season. It might just be a little bit longer until something gives. Also, we've seen Mike Sullivan, play pretty loose with healthy scratches. Could he be taking one soon? Genuinely, because it's getting to that point of he's helping out in certain areas of the ice, but think of who the Penguins don't have in the lineup right now.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Nieto, they want to keep giving chances to. The rest of the names are escaping me. But when it comes to just Jesse Puljujarvi is one.
Well, here's the thing about Jesse Puljujarvi, and that's what I was thinking, is at 5-on-5, they do the same thing. So there's no reason to be favoring O'Connor that much over Puljujarvi if you're looking strictly at their 5-on-5.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is Drew O'Connor is the Penguins' second most used penalty killer. Jesse Puljujarvi hasn't stepped on the ice for the penalty kill yet this year. That's the primary difference between those two. Outside of that, Puljujarvi's probably a better option at 5-on-5, but the Penguins have relied on O'Connor so much for penalty killing. I mean, it's Noel Acciari, who we know, right? We know he's going to be the number one penalty killing forward. And then it's Drew O'Connor. And then it's another chasm before you get to the next one. And right now, it's like, if you look at total ice time shorthanded this year, it is Noel Acciari, it is Drew O'Connor, and then it's Lars Eller. Like, that's how far the chasm is it's the player that hasn't played on this team, that was traded from this team multiple weeks ago, before you get to another active player on the roster that has played just or close to as much time as Drew O'Connor on the penalty kill. So that is what's saving him right now, is that he's one of the Penguins' better penalty killers. Otherwise, he probably would be out of the lineup already.